Right, sound. Sorry about that. All sorts of technical problems this morning. The camera wouldn't work, the battery wasn't plugged in, the microphone didn't work. Let's try that again. Welcome to this week's Purple Penny coin news video. My name's Mark. We do these videos every Monday. Sometimes the camera works, sometimes the microphone works, sometimes it doesn't. Today we're having a bit of a mix of both just to provide you all with a bit of variety. Anyway, it seems to be working now. Thank you to Catherine for coming in and telling me that it doesn't work, and thank you for everyone who is watching for telling me the sound wasn't working. Let's just jump into the news before something else stops working. Adelaide Coin Expo is coming up in a couple of months' time. First weekend in October here in Adelaide at the Torrens Parade Grounds. It's on October 5th and 6th. Free parking in the city there. If you are coming from interstate, it is pretty centrally located and you can just get a hotel room in the city somewhere, and it's easy to just drop down and have a look. You could almost always just catch a plane in on Saturday morning, and it's only about a 20-minute taxi ride from the airport here to the city. Spend the day on Saturday and go home in the afternoon. Adelaide is not a big place. It doesn't take too long to get from the airport to the city. And the expo itself is right on the fringes of the city itself, just off of North Terrace, which is right next to Adelaide Oval. If you know anything about Adelaide, you probably know where Adelaide Oval is. The Torrens Parade Grounds is right across the road from the Adelaide Oval. It's a great spot. So that's the Adelaide Coin Expo. Do come along to that. The Mint is going to be there doing a coin swap. And if you had been watching the news this week, either the print news or the actual news on the TV, you would have seen the NAIDOC coin release on the news. There was a NAIDOC coloured 50-cent piece released on Friday, and the Mint is releasing a circulation version of that coin that you may end up finding in your change. The Mint last Monday announced that they were going to do a coin swap here in Adelaide, so they lined up in Rundle Mall. And several hundred people lined up and swapped their $10 note for a $10 bag of the NAIDOC circulating 50-cent pieces. The swap, I believe, ran from about 9 till 2:30, and Catherine went in and took part in that. I think she lined up for about an hour and a bit over an hour to get her bag of NAIDOC 50-cent pieces. The line itself was 200 or 300 metres long, I believe, at its longest point, and was very popular. Did get widespread coverage in the news here in Adelaide, in the print, in the TV and online as well, and it was quite funny to sit there on Friday night watching the news and seeing a whole bunch of people that we knew lining up to get their coins. So good little event there from the Mint. They'll be back again in October doing the same thing, probably swapping different coins, and I believe that they're going to be, their next event is at the Perth Money Expo, which is coming up soon. So coin swaps, if there's one near you, do get along. I do understand that the timing and location is not convenient for everyone, but they can only do what they can do. Now, we are not opening until 12:30 on Friday. Unfortunately, one of our very good friends here in the shop passed away last week, and Catherine and I are going to duck over and say goodbye to him. So please be aware on Friday that we won't be opening till 12:30. Apologies to anyone if that causes you any inconvenience, but we'll try to be open by 12:30 and business as usual until 4 o'clock. Next two items on the news are just rumour and innuendo. I have heard through the grapevine that perhaps the day after tomorrow, Woolworths will be starting their 2024 Olympic coin releases through the tills. And from what I've read so far, perhaps there's going to be 3 different $2 coins for the Olympics and a $2 coin for the Paralympics. They're going to go out through the tills, and maybe there's a collector folder that you can buy to put those coins that you get through the tills into. Now, the Mint I've had a phone call from someone this morning telling me that the Mint wasn't giving out any information over the phone, and that the best way of getting your hands on these coins was to go to Woolworths and find out what's going there on there. But it is just rumour at this point. We certainly don't know anything concrete about that. Next one is another rumoured release. Well, this one is probably a bit more than a rumour. We've been told by someone at Australia Post that there is going to be a Bluey release maybe in September or October, and for some reason the coins associated with that release have already got out. So there are bags of uncoloured Bluey dollar coins being sold around on social media, and we don't know what the release is. We're not 100% sure when it is, but we have been told September or October, so I guess just keep your eye out there at Australia Post for another Bluey release. We did say a few weeks ago that there would be more Bluey releases, and this is the first hint of that. Right, let's just say a few hellos to people before we go on to the next step in the news. Again, apologies everyone for the lack of sound, and thanks everyone for letting me know. Hello Greg, hello Michelle, hello John, Peter, Catherine, Dee, Ogie, Jason, Brett, Carolyn, Petra, Ray, Daryl, Antonius, John, and Ellie. Yes, thank you Ellie. Sympathies to our friend's family for his passing. It was Catherine and I are pretty upset over it really, but unfortunately, as Jared said, everyone is called in the end. So yeah. Right, the Royal Mint. This is the English version of the Royal Mint rather than the Royal Australian Mint. They have released some Olympic coins, and they're releasing a bunch of different 50p's. So they've got that distinctive design shape there, which is a 7-sided coin, pretty unusual shaped coin there, and they're releasing it in coloured versions and uncoloured versions, and for the first time the British Olympic team and Paralympic teams are being celebrated on the same coin. So you can see the reverse of the coin there has a Union Jack, and there's an Olympic team member on the left and a Paralympic team member on the right. And this is being released in various formats, and the reverse design, which has got a bit of a mosaic look to it, was designed by designer Charis Sevis, and it's available in copper nickel, silver and gold. You can get a uncoloured copper nickel coin for £12, a coloured copper nickel coin for £21, a silver proof for £75, a Peedfoot version of the same coin for £128, and a gold proof version for just a lazy £1,355. But they're only making 150 of the gold ones, so you better rush out and grab up one of those. They do look good with the Union Jack on them, I'll give them that, and I'll be interested to see if one of these comes in the shops one day, because it is quite a pretty looking coin for the Olympics. We are getting very close to the Olympics, of course, and it is just across the channel from the UK in Paris this year, the Olympics. Next item in the news is some Australia Post lost mail, and I did have a chat to Catherine about this because she's the expert on Australia Post and lost packages. Not that we lose a lot of packages, but it does happen from time to time. So a few months ago, a collector in Mackay bought $150 worth of new release coins. He received the delivered notification, but never got the package. Checked on the Australia Post app, and the person who had delivered the package had put a photo of the package on someone's doorstep. Of course, it wasn't the intended recipient's doorstep, and Australia Post or the gentleman in question have never been able to figure out whose doorstep it is. Obviously, that gentleman isn't happy about the fact that his package has gone missing. Australia Post apologised, and he was paid out $100 in compensation. And Catherine did confirm that $100 is the sort of standard compensation that you might get offered for a lost package, and you'll usually get the postage that you've paid as well. He may or may not have paid for postage for this. Now, there is extra insurance possible from Australia Post, and but that doesn't cover banknotes, bullion, or similar items. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you do have coins in your package, you probably want to be a bit cagey about it if you're talking to Australia Post, because they might decide that your collector 50-cent pieces are banknotes or bullion, which of course they are not. So packages do go missing. There's really not a lot that anyone can do about it, and the best advice we can give to people if your package does go missing is to be persistent with Australia Post. Be polite. There's no point being rude with them. The person on the phone didn't lose your package. Be persistent and be polite, and you will get paid out something if you can prove that it hasn't been delivered properly. Are you going to get all of your value back? Well, that could be difficult. And if you do pay out for that extra insurance, then sometimes it can be a bit hard to collect on that. That being said, as Peter Andrews is saying there in the comments, if you buy off of a good vendor like the Royal Australian Mint or us, and the package goes missing, we'll just make good for it and eat the loss ourselves. So if you deal with the right sellers, then it really shouldn't be a problem. But that being said, Catherine has sent out tens of thousands of packages over the years, and we've lost a handful, have gone missing, a handful. Australia Post is very good at what they do, but of course no system is perfect. Now the next story I guess is one of naivete. A gentleman in New Zealand put a couple of expensive collectible coins up on Trade Me, which is the New Zealand version of eBay, and he chose to pick the most risky way of completing that transaction, which was to meet someone face to face and take proof of payment via some sort of device, handed the coins over, and of course he did find out that the proof of payment was falsified, the person's ID was falsified, and of course now he's out of pocket several $1,000s for the two items that have been stolen. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is, don't be naive when you're selling things online. If you are selling via eBay or some other online auction, then choose to post the item, choose to conduct the payment via third-party payment platforms such as PayPal, who have inbuilt protection for buyers and sellers, and make sure when you're paying for postage that you pay for all the tracking and all the delivery confirmation you can get your hands on. Absolutely do not meet people in car parks with proof of payments on phone or things like that, because you're going to get ripped off. And while I do feel sorry for the gentleman who lost his coins, he was very naive to conduct a transaction like that in such a fashion. Unfortunately, the world is full of people who will take advantage of other people if they think they can get away with it. Much of what eBay has put in place is put there specifically to address scams that both buyers and sellers have come up with over the years, and they do their best to stop those things from going on. So commiserations to the person in New Zealand. But next time, take a bit more careful with things. Right, let's have a look at a few comments here, because some people have got some stuff talking about the lost package. Jason is saying he's heard calling coins collectible numismatics covers you. John says unless it's a parcel, not envelope, they will not pay compensation. That's interesting. Robert Remus, who's a dealer in, I think from Sydney, Robert, I think that's where you're from, I'm not sure. Reliable dealers in businesses replace items or refund for non-delivery. Australia will reimburse maximum of $100 to the sender. Yep, that's right, Robert. That's pretty much exactly what we do. Peter says someone pulled that stunt on a dealer at one of the recent AND affairs. Yeah, look, perhaps some of the dealers in Australia are not as technically au fait as what they could be. I certainly would not take proof of payment on anything other than my own phone, my own application, and that those funds would want to have cleared into my bank account before I would hand over any items at all. So I'm sad to hear that. Peter says the dealer was out by many thousands. That's terrible. David says, never say a package contains coins or currency. Say tokens or assorted collectibles. Okay, thanks, Ellie. Thanks, David. See you, Ellie. Thanks for joining in today. And Peter says that the dealer still doesn't have their items back. Thanks for sharing that, Peter. Right, next item is... How's our battery on our laptop going here? I think we should be right. Next item here is Japan is issuing new banknotes for the first time in 20 years. And the stories I read suggested it was to address counterfeiting problems, but counterfeiting isn't a huge problem in Japan. In 2023, there were less than 1,000 counterfeit notes seized in Japan. Japan is a notoriously honest place, and obviously counterfeiting isn't a big deal there. But the Japanese central bank has taken the opportunity to release 3 new banknotes with all new security features. There's a 10,000 yen, 5,000 yen and 1,000 yen note. For example, 10,000 yen is about $100, so it's about a $100 note. And they include all sorts of new holographic printing. So you can see the portrait of that Japanese gentleman there. Apparently, as you rotate that note around, he appears to look in all sorts of directions. They're also using the holographic strip down the left-hand side there. The ink used on the notes in certain areas is pearlescent, and in other areas it's luminescent. If you illuminate it with UV, it glows. And then they're using sort of older style anti-counterfeiting things such as intaglio printing and a textured substrate. The big concern about this is, of course, that many of the vending machines in Japan will not accept these new notes. So there is frantic activity going on in Japan at the moment to update all the vending machines. And of course, if you've been to Japan, you would know that many of the restaurants have a vending machine out the front where you place your order and feed the money in. So there'd be many thousands of restaurants frantically updating their technology to be able to accept these new notes. Japan is still a very cash-driven society, so these notes will get used, and I believe they're going to print something like 13.7 billion new banknotes of these new series. So it's an interesting new release there from Japan. Peter wants to know how to get one. Well, Peter, take me on holidays to Japan and we'll get one together. How does that sound? Right, topic of the day is should I get my coin graded? What do I mean by graded? I mean sending it away to a third-party grading company, usually in America, and they will evaluate your coin and assign it a numerical grade and encapsulate it. So put it in this hard plastic container. You can see this is a 2015 War Heroes dollar coin. It's been graded by PCGS. You can see their gold shield just there. PCGS stands for Professional Coin Grading Service. They're in the USA. It's been assigned a numerical grade, which is MS66. There's a barcode on there, a coin number, a specific security, specific barcode for this coin. So, why do you get coins graded? Well, it's a way of getting a third party and independent opinion of the quality of a coin, because for many coins the grade of the coin is all important, and obviously, you know, us as a dealer, we buy and sell coins, and if you are unscrupulous, you could easily buy a coin saying it was one grade and then sell it saying it was a higher grade, and that's a way of padding profit margins. Getting coins third party graded are a way of providing assurance to collectors of coins of the quality of their coin, and helping them to ensure that they pay the right price for them. What it isn't is a way of making money, as a lot of people think. So we get a lot of questions from people asking should they get X coin graded, and I had 3 separate conversations with people last week, all the same topic. So let's look at why you would get a coin graded by PCGS. You would get a coin graded A because it makes it more liquid. What does that mean? It means that it can be easier to sell. That means that say a PCGS MS66 War Heroes poppy may be easier to sell in a slab than a raw one, and a raw one is one that isn't graded. Now, why would it be easier to sell? Well, because online these days, that's where most coin sales happen. Often people can't take good images of coins. It is quite difficult to take a good photo of a coin. So a coin that is already graded by PCGS or NGC are another coin grading company. It gives you some assurance of the quality of the coin, so you as a seller may find it easier to sell a coin that is already graded. It makes it more liquid. It means it's easier to move on. When it's in this holder, it helps preserve it. It's very difficult to physically damage the coins when they're in these holders. You can touch them and rub them up and down and drop them on the ground, and you're not going to damage the coin. It is a way of providing assurance of grade rarity. So these ones here, for example, these are graded MS66. Now, the coins are graded from 0 to 70, and MS66 sounds like a lot. And for some coins, it is a lot. But for this particular type of coin, it is actually not a lot. Okay, so an MS66 like this is actually quite low for this type of coin. Whereas if you had an MS69 and it was in a holder, you would get a premium for that coin, because you are providing grade assurance as to the quality of that coin to someone who might want to buy it. And the final reason that I can think of that you might want to get a coin graded is for authenticity. So if you have a key date coin, and a key date coin is a coin that is of a specific year, that might be a low mintage year that is commonly faked, that if you get it graded by PCGS or NGC, then you are providing an assurance as to the authenticity of that coin. So there's some reasons why I get things graded, and one thing that I didn't mention there is profit. People get coins graded because they think they're going to make money out of it. It isn't that easy. It's not just a matter of sending a coin away and getting it graded and making money. It's more complicated than that. And today I thought I would just give you a specific example of why I would get a coin graded or not. So what you need to know before getting a coin graded is you need to know how to grade the coin yourself. If you can't grade coins, then by grading them, I mean looking at them and saying, I think that'll be an MS66 or an MS62 or whatever. If you can't do that, then sending a coin away to get graded is purely gambling. It's nothing more than that, because you don't know what you're sending away. You need to understand the cost of getting a coin graded and what it owes you, because of course they are key for working out if you're going to make a profit on it or not. You need to know how particular coins of that type at particular grade levels are selling in the market right now. You need to understand the population report for that particular coin. So population report, and you'll see one of those on the next slide, is a breakdown of all the coins of a particular type that PCGS has graded and the numbers at each particular grade. And then the last one that you want to know about is how long to take to get the coin back. Now, why would that be a thing? Because there are people out there that try to buy up all the new releases from the mint as quickly as they can and send them over to PCGS as quickly as they can and get them back here, and then they can market them as the top pop being the highest graded coin. And often they can only market it as the highest graded coin for a very short time, because as soon as everyone else gets their coins over there, that top pop isn't a special thing anymore. So what does that mean? It means that, you know, if you are going to try that game of getting things over there as quickly as you can and being the fastest and the highest, then you need to be aware that it can take months for those coins to come back. And we certainly heard rumours of people flying to California with these coins in their suitcases to get them graded and get them back to Australia as quickly as possible. So they're all things that you need to know. So the example I had today, and Sebastian, this is for you, mate. Sebastian knows who he is. Was to look at the 2020 end of World War II $2 coin. Now, they were handed out in bags here at the coin swap on Friday. And Sebastian asked me about whether I thought it was worth getting them graded. And up the top there, you can see the population report for the circulation 2020 into World War II $2 coin. There are over 3,000 of them graded. This is not the C Mint Mark coin, this is a circulation coin. There are over 3,000 of them graded. 3,000, let me say that again. 2 at MS69, 55 at MS68, and then a whole bunch under that. So what does that mean? It means that if you're going to get one of these graded, you are getting a coin graded into a mature population. So, you know, there's no opportunities to leverage off of getting a coin graded quickly or to, you know, anything like that. You are grading into a mature population. So that means if you are going to get one graded, you need to make sure that it is right up the top there at 68 or 69 to be worthwhile. Now, why is that? It's because everyone who wants one has got one. The only ones that people are going to chase after are the 68s or 69s. 67s and below, everyone who wants one has got one. So that means that, you know, for a 67 or a 66, no one is going to pay a premium for it because there are plenty on the market already. So how much does it cost? Now, thank you to Eric at Drake Sterling for publishing his grading prices on his website here. Cost is a handling fee, a flat handling fee, which is fixed per grade level that you want to get coins graded for. There's a variable fee per coin, which is the actual grading fee, and then there's postage to get the coins to Eric so that he can submit them for you. And the prices on Eric's website today said that the handling fee is $40. It's $40 for a modern coin with a TrueView image, and it's going to cost you about $15 to get the coin to. Oh look, we're about to go flat here. I'm going to have to wind it up because we've only got 2% of the battery left. So $95 up front to get a coin graded, and if you look down the slide there at the values, you know, I've got some catalogue values there from Stuart Anderson. Thank you to Stuart Anderson for supplying those numbers. Some from Numa's tip, and you can see there that that you really need to look at an MS68 or an MS69 to recover that $95. And there's some sold results there. Not one of those circulation coins has sold for more than $50. So yeah, there's some tips for you out there, Sebastian, if you're watching. Apologies for cutting it off short, but someone forgot to plug in the computer this week. That's it for now. Technical problems galore today. Thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully next week it won't be such a shambles. Happy collecting. Have a safe week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.